Hello Stitchy friends, welcome to the Starlight Stitching Co. floss tube. It has been quite a while, a much longer break than I expected, but today I'm here to share with you everything that I finished in 2025. It is February 2nd. Hopefully it's not too late to do a 2025 recap, but I figured that would be a good place to start since I haven't had a floss tube in such a long time. So let's dive in with my finishes. I will start with cross stitch and then I will move on to knitting after that. My first finish is Winter's Piece Sampler by Artful Offerings. Here's the chart. And I stitched this in the called for DMC colors as my blessing stitch last January. So I started it at the beginning of January and I did get it finished before the end of the month. And then later in the year, I got it framed in this beautiful frame. And I think I got the frame from art2frames.com, but it's pretty gold and silver and it really fit in with the beigey color of the alphabet at the bottom. And I just love how it turned out. I will have to get a photograph of this and add it to my Instagram because I have also been very bad about posting my crafty updates on Instagram, so we'll try to get better at that. I don't have my table anymore, so I'm trying to make do with what I've got. My next finish just fell on the floor. How out of practice are we? All right. My next finish is Winter Folk by Hands On Design. I stitched this in the called for DMC flosses and I used 32 count raw silver linen from Zweigart. Here, I'll try to get close so you can see all those lovely details. There are some specialty stitches in a pearl cotton that add a lovely texture in that quilt pattern area here. And then that sweet little deer at the bottom. So I finished it onto some mat board with another piece of mat board covered with fabric behind it, and it's just mounted with magnets on this board that you can get from Chantel's 141 Design Company. And then I added just some simple twine at the top because that'll work with all of the folk charts. I think I need to get a table back. This isn't going well. All right, so then I moved on to finishing up some Valentine's whips. So my next whip is Valentine's Quaker, or not whip, finish Valentine's Quaker by Primrose Cottage. And here is my finished stitch. I stitched this on a 28 count opalescent white linen over 2, and I didn't have two skeins of the floss that I used. I don't remember what color it is. It'll probably be listed on my Instagram. But I only had one skein. So I found a DMC that was very close to it and did some parts in DMC. Like I scattered them out a bit, like some over here, some over here. So it wasn't all in one cluster, but I did some parts in DMC and some parts in the fancy floss with the variegation. And you can kind of tell the parts that are more solid than the rest, but I think it's scattered about enough that it makes it work. and I was able to use what I had. I was able to use what I had on hand instead of having to buy new. And I consider that a plus. Let's see, my next fully finished item is Home Sweet Home by Primrose Cottage Stitches. It's chaos here. Such a sweet little house pattern. And this one I stitched on, I'm not sure what fabric I used here. It's a nice neutral Aida over 2, probably a 16 count Aida, maybe platinum or mushroom. You can look on my Instagram. I probably shared it there. But all those sweet details. And then I just used some scraps of quilting fabric to sew to the bottom and the side and added this pom-pom trim. Finished the back. I like to leave a slit in the middle that I use for stuffing it. Then I will ladder stitch it closed with just thread, and then I also cover it with these big X stitches in the middle to make it a little more decorative, because my ladder stitching is not perfect. But it's the back, so it's okay. All right, my next finish, I don't have a pattern to show you because it's just the chart. But this is the You Have My Heart. It's the freebie anniversary chart from Hands On Design last year. And this was charted to have brown where the dark turquoise is. And I switched that out to a dark turquoise. And then finished it into this little heart with some sweet little heart fabric on the back. And just some edge stitching. My next finish is the April Quaker. This is by From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. And I just picked my own 3 overdyed floss colors, just using what I have on hand. And then this is the March Quaker, which I think got a little dented. I might have to see if I can iron that to get that out. So far I have February, March, and April done. I need to get on these so I can get them stitched up. Okay, let's see. Next, I'll go into stitched finishes, but not fully finishes. And I think I left my chart over there. Pause. Okay, I'm back. I left a lot of charts over there. So the next is going to come from the Primrose Cottage Stitches Religious Christmas Trio. And I stitched all 3 of these on 32 count raw gold Zweigart linen in the called for DMC flosses. So this is Come Let Us Adore Him, Silent Night, and Peace on Earth. Hopefully you can't see through that too bad. And it's such a pretty sparkly linen. I need to get those fully finished one of these days. One of these days. Lots of things happen one of these days. I'm just going through the stack in order. It would have made more sense to go with like Valentine's and then Christmas, but it is what it is. So here is the Berries in Bloom. This is a chart from Hands On Design. I used the called for DMC on 32 count raw silver linen from Zweigart. I clearly use this linen far too much. It is one of my favorites because it glitters. And here is Christmas Folk by Hands On Design. I'm sorry, this isn't Christmas Folk. This is the freebie ornament that came with Christmas Folk that was released at the Jingle Ball last year. So this is a little freebie ornament. I had finished the Christmas Folk chart last year. Not last year, the year before. But I hadn't gotten around to stitching the ornament. And I finally stitched that this last year. I think this was actually a New Year's Eve start and a New Year's Day finish. So maybe this actually counts as this year. I don't know. We're getting too technical. Let's keep it simple. Okay. So next I have the Quilted Christmas Trio from Emily Cole Stitching. So I had stitched the snowman one a couple years ago and finished it into a pillow. Where is the pillow? I thought it was behind me. Oh, I put it away with the Christmas stuff because it's Christmassy. But I had stitched the snowman already. And now I have the little round that says Let It Snow finished. And this is some white opalescent Aida that I dyed myself with some aquamarine or turquoise. It was a long time ago. Aquamarine or turquoise Rit dye. And it's so cute. So I just need to get it finished into an ornament. And I have started the trimming the tree, the last one in this trio, but I haven't finished it yet. So that'll be a finish for this year maybe. Who knows? Okay, so that takes care of those charts. And then next I have Big Hearted Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. I'm pretty sure I stitched this on the same platinum 16 count Aida that I stitched the You Have My Heart and Home Sweet Home from Primrose Cottage on. And I'm pretty sure I used the exact same colors in this as I used in the Home Sweet Home. So like I followed the DMC colors for the Home Sweet Home and then I used them to stitch this. And it's super cute. I love it. Next, I have Strawberry Fair by October House Fiber Arts. And this I stitched on, maybe this is a 14 count, I don't know. 14 or 16 count Aida that I dyed with some pink Rit dye, and then it was a little too bright, so I tea dyed it. Coffee tea dyed it afterwards. And I'm pretty sure this is stitched with the called for DMCs. All right, the next one, I do not have the chart. I do not know what fabric this was stitched on, but I'm pretty sure I used all the called for flosses. And this is 'Tis Spring. I have a board here, let's use it. 'Tis Spring by Brenda Gervais. Such a pretty chart with these like ghosty quilt stars in the background and the sweet little birdie nest in the wreath. So pretty. I'm pretty sure I have shared this on my Instagram. I will try to find the fabric color and add it in text on the bottom here if I can. If I can't, then it's a mystery to all of us. Next up, I have the Love Grows Here by Primrose Cottage Stitches. This is one of the Free Stitch Friday charts that I did for last year. And this is one that I actually splurged and bought the kit for. I normally don't buy the kit. I usually try to use what I have in my stash. But this one I bought the kit and used all of the called for items. Somewhere around here is the finishing supplies, so I can finish it into a pillow. I don't know where though. so that's all of my regular stitching. Next, I am going to share the 4 pieces that I designed and model stitched and submitted into the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine last year. And once the year time frame comes up, these will be available as a PDF in my shop on both Etsy and my own website, StarlightStitchingCo.com. So first we have Spring Blooms. This one was so much fun to stitch with the bright colors and the bunny and the tulips and daffodils and a big purple Gerber daisy in the middle. The sweet little chick on top of the pea. Oh, I just love everything about it. What I wanted to share with this piece is one way that you can use a standard sized frame to frame a non-standard sized piece. So this design fits in a regular 8x10 frame. I got this frame from The Rusty Roof. They have their own website and they have these beautiful hardwood frames that come in a variety of different painted colors, already distressed, ready to go. So I was able to just pop it in. So what I did is I got the frame. This is an 8x10 distressed classic in robin egg. And I got the frame in, and then I took the frame into my local quilting shop, Plain Jane's, and I found a fabric that closely matched the colors. So we have these beautiful spring raindrops in the background. And then before Joann's closed, I went and looked at some of their ribbon and got this lace ribbon and then this blue ribbon and a button from the sewing section to fill in the space at the bottom of the frame. And I just love this piece. It's so fun, it's so pretty, so light and airy, and just brings out everything that I think of when I think of spring. Where am I gonna set it? All right. Then in the summer, we had, hopefully it's not too dusty, the Sunflower Fields drum. So in 2024, I booked a family photo shoot out at a local farm that has sunflower field, like a giant sunflower field, for some family pictures. And the family pictures turned out beautiful. And that is what inspired this piece. The entire hillside in the background of the photos is just covered in sunflowers. So that's what this yellow hill is, in the grassy area, and then a close-up of some of the sunflowers. Sweet little bumblebee. It's a partly cloudy day. And then we also have this beautiful turquoise and blue gingham border at the bottom. And it's finished into a pincushion drum with some fabric on top and around on the bottom, and then just some decorative pins that I put together to stick in the top. So I absolutely love this one. The pattern for this one does come with the assembly instructions. And I have another model that is a drum that will be my own personal release. I don't know when I'll have it done. I'll try to have it done for this spring. It's already February. I'll try to have it done for the spring, but I plan on doing a video tutorial to go along with the instructions. So this one has photo instructions, and the next one I plan on doing a video tutorial with, so I can show you on video the exact same assembly instructions. All right, next was autumn. So for autumn, I designed this piece. It's called Autumn at Midnight, and it's finished on a frame from Chantel's 141 Design Company. I don't remember what it's called or what the size is, but I will include that in the description. Excuse me. I stitched this on an 18 count? 18 count? Yes, 18 count Coralline blue linen from Lap and Loops. It's very pretty linen. And then I used, for the vines here, this is a variegated thread from Pirate and Robin. I'm the thread color is a little hard to pronounce. Is it Nasturtium? Nasturtium? It'll be in the description too. Very pretty floss that is hand dyed. And then we have a little kitty cat, a little black kitty cat. We used to have a black cat. Her name was Midnight, because I am not original when it comes to naming cats. And this reminds me of her. So we have Midnight sitting on a sweet little pumpkin that has this lovely quilt block detail inside the pumpkin. And we have a crescent moon and a little spider hanging from the arbor there. And the arbor is designed to fit perfectly within this frame. It's finished on a mat board surrounded by some pom-pom trim from Lady Creates, and then I just ruffled up some strips of quilting fabric and stitched that around. And at the top of the house we have a sweet little twine bow with a button. Let's see, I stained the house and then painted the base and the top and then sealed it with spray sealer. And it's just a really fun piece. I love it. My final piece for the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine was for Christmas and winter. This was definitely a labor of love, but I'm really happy with it, how it turned out, and really excited for it. So this is Emmanuel. It is designed to give the feeling of stained glass. So we have that beautiful star at the top, and then they're in what gives us the suggestion of a stable with the blue sky above and then the gold light shining down on Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. And I meant to bring one up. I was trying to go for the same look as the willow tree figurines, where they don't have the face. It's just like a very rustic carving figurine. So that's what I was going for here. And then we have this beautiful, almost like Moroccan tile border that's so colorful and so much fun. So to have this submitted for the magazine, I had to have it done by August 15th, and I started it on July 1st because it took me a while to get the pattern right. The first time I designed the figures here, they were too small in scale. It didn't feel right, so I had to like completely erase that and then redesign them larger on my charting software, which, I mean, that takes time. Doing people and animals is challenging, but it is a fun process. So I stitched on this every spare second I had in that month and a half to get this done. There are so many stitches in this. It is on a 20 count Aida over 1. Of course it's over 1, it's Aida. 1 strand of floss over 1 Aida square. I stitched on it constantly. I barely finished it the day that I had to, photograph it and submit it. It's not even laced. I just shoved it in the frame so I could get a photograph of it. So I need to properly finish it and put the glass back in so it's protected. But this honestly kind of burnt me out on stitching for a little bit last year. I didn't really want to stitch on anything for a good 2-3 months. Thankfully, all of my, required stitching for the magazine submissions was done. So I could enjoy that nice little break. So if you saw absolutely nothing stitching related from me last, fall. Yeah, last fall. That's why. I was a little burnt out. Okay, I have 4 knitting finishes to share. And then maybe talk a little bit about stats, or should I save that for when I do my whip parade? I don't know. We could do a few minutes on stats. That's okay. So my first finish, knitting finish last year. Now I need to scoot back again. At least I gave myself room. This is the California sweater by Knit California. It's a very simple drop sleeve sweater. It's knit with a big gauge. I used Knit Picks yarn. I believe it's their palette yarn. I don't recall the color, but I used their palette and their Aloft yarn. So there's a mohair held with a worsted weight superwash merino in this very lovely pink. It's so pretty. It was a new construction style for me. So this is the first time I had ever done where you knit the back panel and then you knit the right and left panel and then join in the round. And it's also the first time I did the folded collar. And it's such a lovely sweater. I don't know if you can tell, but it is nice and airy, but the mohair makes it super warm. It's also incredibly oversized. I think I could have sized down on this one, but that's okay. I still love it. And then we have the sleeves with some ribbing. First time doing ribbing, so there was a lot of new techniques learned on this sweater. So much fun. So Knit Picks palette and Knit Picks Aloft in two different pink colors. So the Aloft, the mohair, is that lighter color that you're seeing, and then the palette is the darker pink. So it gave this, what is that called? A heathered, gave it a heathered look. Sorry if you can hear my dog and my daughter playing in the background. Such is life. This is why I had a hard time finding a chance to film a video. Okay, next I have a cardigan that I knit for my daughter. It's a fingering weight yarn from an indie dyer on Etsy. What was it called? Sugar Rush? Yeah, I think it was Sugar Rush. But it's this vibrant, it's also wrinkly because it was just tossed in a bin. It's this beautiful rainbow color. And I had purchased the yarn before I knew what I was going to use it for. And I didn't have quite enough for this sweater, so I also picked up some limey green, because my daughter's favorite color is green. And I used that like to color block the bottom of the sweater and the sleeves. So I can't remember the name of this pattern. I will add it at the bottom. But there's this beautiful eyelet detail around the neckline, as well as this garter stitch here. And then on the front there are 3 buttons. So the button band is worked with the rows of the cardigan. It's just knit both sides instead of knit and then purl. But I didn't get the buttons spaced very evenly because I kept forgetting that I needed to add a buttonhole. But here it is. It's very pretty. There was some color pooling on the sleeves. Such is the case with hand-dyed yarn. I did try out helical knitting, so that was something I did for the first time. I almost think it made the color pooling worse, though. But it was also like the 4th time I had tried knitting the sleeves, like part of the sleeve, to not get these giant blotches of color. The helical knitting worked really good on the back to not have giant splotches, because I started to notice giant splotches on the back and then ripped it out and then, you know, knit with 2 balls at the same time, or both balls, because I only had 2. But on the sleeves, as you can see, at some point I just had to give up and say, it is what it is. Such is the case with hand-dyed yarns. But it's still very cute. I'm still very proud of it. It looks adorable, even if it is just tossed into a bin or a drawer half the time. Okay, so the next piece I want to share is the Woodlawn. It's called a shawl, the Woodlawn Shawl by D. O'Keefe that I knit for my sister. And I have a little video clip of me sharing information about this scarf before I gifted it to her for her birthday in October. So I will pop that little clip in here. I wanted to take a quick minute to share with you a recent knitting finish before it is gifted. So I have knit the Woodlawn Shawl by D. O'Keefe. So that's what the cover photo looks like. And I have knit this in a Malabrigo Rios yarn in the color Gemini. It's very much a hot pink, a little bit of yellow orange going on with the lighting here. Oh. With the lighting here shining on it, it looks very, very bright. And I know the recipient will love it. I don't know if you can see any of that orange in there, but this shawl worked up pretty quickly. Here's, or scarf. She calls it a shawl. I'm gifting it as though it's a scarf. It starts off by knitting, you know, a small end like a shawl normally does with this lovely lace pattern, and then it expands and gets wider with increases towards the middle, and then it goes back down to a point with decreases. And there's this lovely little scalloped border. I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, that's made just with binding off a couple of stitches at the end of every fourth row. And I thought that was so neat. And this lace pattern is so pretty. I just love it. Working the lace chart was pretty easy. I just had a copy of it that I was able to highlight, and it's nice and thick and wide, so you can have it cozied up. I'm not sure how to wear scarves, but it actually covers a nice wide area, and the main body of the scarf is, what is it called? Can't remember. It's not stockinette. It's where you knit on both sides. So stockinette is knit on one side and purl on the other side, and I can't remember what the other one is, but that's what it is, where you knit on both sides, and it makes it very easy. And then there's this detail here, which is just a slipped stitch. A slip stitch detail here and here along the edge that is just so pretty and so simple to do. So I highly recommend this pattern and this yarn, and it makes a lovely gift. I started this mid-June and I finished it up in mid-September. So that doesn't seem like too bad of a timeline for me. I really don't get a whole lot of regular knitting time, but oh my gosh, it's just so pretty. I might have to knit myself one, since this one is a gift. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend the knitting pattern, and that's all I have for this segment. The next item I have to share, I just have a photo of it. It was gifted. It was a gift for my mother for Christmas. It's not this. It's a Harvest Cardigan by Tin Can Knits. This is a free pattern. They have a fabulous app that you can download that you select the size and you input your needles and you input your yarn, and it calculates everything out, so you don't have to like go through a regular paper pattern and highlight the sizes or the number of stitches. It just calculates it all out for you. And you can hit next and it'll keep track of where your row is at. It's you should check out the Tin Can Knits app if you want to knit any of their patterns, because it does a really good job of keeping track of where you're at. You can add notes to any modifications that you made. It made it super easy for me to go back and knit my mother's harvest cardigan. Now this is my harvest cardigan that I knit 2024. First ever sweater, first ever cardigan. This one is knit in Bad Sheep Yarns Wild Blueberry in worsted weight. So it is beautiful. You can see this hand-dyed yarn did not have giant pooling. There wasn't huge variations in between skeins. She does a fabulous job. She's one of my favorite yarn dyers, but it's obviously a cardigan with a garter stitch band here. It's not a button band because there's no buttons. What is it? The edge along the cardigan is the garter stitch. That's worked within each row. It's a raglan. So lots and lots of things learned with this sweater. And my mom's is the same. So not in this yarn, but it's the same pattern. I used the harvest cardigan and I just made it one size larger. And for hers, I used Malabrigo Rios. Is it Rios? It's the worsted weight one. I think that's Rios. In the color magenta. It's showing up way bright in this light. Let me see. What can we do here? It's definitely a purpley pink or a pinky purple. It's not what I think of when you say magenta. Let's get closer. There we go. So, and this is what I have left over. I think I'm going to save it and use it because I want to knit myself a stripe pipe sweater. And I had picked out different colors, but one of them is a little bit more of a rusty red. I think I'm going to save this magenta and use that instead. Either way, it's going to be fine. So I started my mom's harvest cardigan in beginning of September. Mid-September. It was mid-September. And just did a little bit of the top. And then I stopped because I started another cardigan for myself, which is a current whip. And I allowed myself to work on that all through October. So from basically, November 1st, I knit on my mom's harvest cardigan from about like here. It was way up here. I hadn't done very much. It was still very small. All the rest of it. So in the month of November, I went from all the way up here by the collar and got the body done. And then in December, I just knit both of the sleeves. And I finished knitting it the Saturday before Christmas. So since Christmas was later in the week, that gave me a chance to, block it. And I was terrified when I blocked it and I'm pulling it out of the bin to squeeze out all the water. It's like stretching and stretching. It's like, oh my goodness, this thing's huge. So to help speed up the blocking process, and because it seemed like it was stretching so huge, I actually put it in the dryer for a little bit on low. It didn't get it totally dry, but and of course I squeezed out as much of the water, like rolled it up in a towel like you're supposed to do, stomped on it, squeeze out the water and all that good stuff before I put it in the dryer, because it still looked really long and stretched at that point. Put it in the dryer on low. It was still a little damp. Then I laid it out on the blocking mats, and then after like 2 more days it was dry. So 2 days before Christmas the sweater was done. and I can pop a picture of that in here. I don't have a picture of it laying out flat. It's just a picture of it neatly folded up, ready to get wrapped. And those are my knitting finishes. And that is everything that I finished in 2025. I forgot one. I forgot one. Is it even in my chart? Do I even have it listed? Yes, I do. Okay. I totally forgot one. This is Ladybug Picnic by Hands On Design. As you can see, it's not totally fully finished. Let's just tuck this thread up behind here. Okay. I stitched this on, what is this? I'm going to guess a 16 count Aida that I dyed with some pink dye in the Called for DMC colors, I think. And I'm in the process of finishing this. I have, what is it called? I can't think of the word. What is it called? Where you do the threads across the back to make it tight. Yeah, it is totally not coming to me. What is the name for this technique? Stretching? No. Flossing? Nope. Nope. I know the word. The brain is not coming up with it. But I'm in the process of finishing it. I have attached the stitching to the round mat board that has some batting on it. And then I have added some red pom-pom trim. And then I want to add some more ruffled fabric like I did on the Autumn at Midnight. I need to stop filming. I have some fabric that I want to ruffle, like ruche together and attach around the edges, and then I have a little circle stand from Chantel's 141 Design Company that I painted black and distressed that I need to stick this to. So this is almost a full finish. Ladybug Picnic by Hands On Design. And that is my last whip from 2025. Okay, so yeah, that's everything that I finished in 2025. So as far as some stats, for cross stitching, I haven't started using the system yet for my knitting, or at least I haven't gone back. Anyway, for cross stitching, I started 2024 with 40 whips, and I wanted to focus on working through the whips and not adding a bunch to them. Why am I reading? Yeah. No. Why am I talking about 2024? So this has to get cut out. Okay. I started 2025 with 47 whips. I did not want to add a whole bunch of new starts. I wanted to work through my whips and work them down, which, I mean, I did better at than the previous year. So in 2025, I started 18 new starts, and this includes the ones that were my design submissions for the magazine. And I finished 17 finishes, 13 of which are full finishes. And I ended the year with 46 whips. So my total whip count only went down by 1. But I did, finish a lot more of the stuff that I started. Because I only carried over 7 2025 whips into 2026. So that means all the other whips, the other 40, no, that's not the finishing number. I'm sorry. I finished with 46. So the other 39 whips are all older, mostly from 2023. I started way too many things in 2023. 60 things in 2023. That's nuts. Okay, so this year I'm trying to continue with being more intentional about what I start and trying to work through my whips. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll share more about that in my regular floss tube. So the next time you see me, I hope to have a whip parade. I haven't decided if I'm going to do like a quick flip through one like I've done before, or if I'm going to do a full one where I sit down and chat through all of the details. I kind of want to chat through all the details because it's been a while, but that will take a considerable amount of time. So we shall see. As far as regular floss tubes, I hope to come back every 2 weeks. Most of the time it probably will be a very short video because I craft in little snippets here and there, so I don't get a ton of progress on very many different things. But I'm going to try to come back regularly every 2 weeks and share with you what I've been working on, and just get to enjoy sitting and chatting with you all. Thank you so much for watching and returning. It's been so long. Hopefully this video wasn't too chaotic, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.